Hello everybody, thanks for joining Walrus News Now. We have a breaking news report. Kentucky clerk gets jail time for failing to issue same-sex marriage licenses. A federal judge Thursday ordered Rowan County, Kentucky clerk P. Davis to jail for refusing heed a U.S. Supreme Court order legalizing same-sex marriage, and she will stay there until she complies with the ruling. During the hearing, one witness told the court that Davis had denied her a marriage license 3 times, and when Davis took the stand, the clerk explained that she could not issue the licenses because of her religious beliefs. American Civil Liberties Union's attorney argued in a motion filed Monday that Davis continues to collect compensation from the Commonwealth for duties she failed to perform. They said they didn't want her to be jailed as punishment, but rather the attorneys asked the court to impose financial penalties sufficiently serious and increasingly onerous to make her comply with the High Court's order. U.S. District Judge David Bunning, however, apparently felt she deserved jail time, but he also told Davis she could end her incarceration by complying with the Supreme Court order and telling her deputy clerks to do the same. Celebrations and protests erupted outside the courthouse when those who attended the hearing exited the courtroom with the news of the decision. Davis, the apostolic Christian who says she has a sincere religious objection to same-sex marriage, has refused to issue any marriage license since the Supreme Court decision in June legalizing same-sex marriage. In court documents filed Wednesday, her attorneys argued that she shouldn't be held in contempt. Instead, they argued there are alternatives that would allow couples to get marriage license in Rowan County without going against Davis' religious beliefs. Among the options they offered were allowing other officials to issue marriage license in the county, distributing marriage license at the state level, or changing marriage license forms to remove Davis's name. A seat inside the courtroom was a hot ticket. Before the session began, more than 100 people were turned away from Bunning's courtroom, which held 300 people. A federal law enforcement source told CNN that because of the controversy surrounding the case, Bunning would be provided with a security escort on the way to work Thursday. Respect the law. Do your job. A large crowd, leaning mostly in support of Davis, gathered outside the courthouse before the hearing. Many carrying signs. Jesus saves, reads one. Homo sex is sin, reads another. Well, one sign pointed passerbys by the Bible, Acts 5:29, which quotes Peter and other apostles saying, "We must obey God rather than human beings." Lanny Bailey of the Worthington, about a 20-minute drive northward of Ashland, brought signs as well, both of which seemed to address Davis. Quote, "My gay friends pay taxes, which helps pay you, right?" And, quote, "Respect the law, do your job. I'm here to support equal rights for all," quote. She said, quote, "It's just called respect. I don't understand why we're having this. Why are you spending money on this?" Question mark. If you can't do your job, then you need to step down. You need to resign. End of quote. Jason Partzner, a pastor at Ashland's Gospel Light Baptist Church, spoke for the other side and said he wasn't at the courthouse to bash people's decisions and lifestyles, but he worried that if people were allowed to continue doing whatever they want to do, the floodgates will open to the areas of polygamy. He did not elaborate on how same-sex marriage was akin to polygamy, which is the act of having multiple spouses. Polygamy is illegal in every state. Echoing those who cited Acts 5:29, he said he felt Davis had a right to refuse to issue the marriage license. In waving his Bible, he told CNN he bore no hatred towards gay couples and is merely standing for the truth of my God's word. "I just know the destruction that this brings. As a pastor, I see the background. I see the broken families. I see the AIDS. I see the folks dying of diseases and brokenness of relationships," he said. Lawyers issuing licenses, quote, "violates her conscience." 2 other county clerks in Kentucky are also refusing to issue same-sex marriage licenses. According to a statement on Kentucky Governor Steve Busher's website, Bunning ordered David to resume the issuing of marriage licenses on August 12th, Monday night. The Supreme Court denied an emergency application from Davis, who asked the binding order to be put on hold pending appeal. In a statement released Tuesday, Davis, a Democrat, said she has received death threats but intends to continue to serve the county clerk, a position she will elected to fill in November. In court papers, attorneys for Davis argued she is unable to comply with the court orders because issuing same-sex marriages license irreparably and irreversibly violates her conscience. Finding her in contempt of court, they argued in the motion filed Wednesday, also would substantially burden Davis' religious exercise. But some scoff at the clerk, suggesting that she is a hypocrite because she has been divorced 3 times. "I am not perfect," she said in a statement. "No one is, but I am forgiven." Quote. The ACLU attorneys who represent 2 same-sex couples and 2 opposite-sex couples who want to get married in Rowan County argue that Davis has no legal basis to avoid performing her duties as government clerk. And a federal prosecutor said it is time for Davis and her county to comply. Government officials are free to disagree with the law, but not to disobey it, U.S. Attorney Carrie B. Harvey said in a statement. Quote, "The county clerk has presented her position through the federal court system all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. It is time for the clerk and the county to follow the law." Thanks for joining Walrus News Now. Have a nice day.